And we are live on air with Tim Shieff. How's it going, man? Where are you located right now?
Ted, great to be on here, man. First of all, I just want to apologize to everyone for changing the time, changing the day, but we make it work, and we're here right now. And thank you, Ted, for putting this on.
Cool, man. Thanks so much for coming. Yeah, I remember the first time I met you, man. You were like doing flips over the fire at Woodstock, and I was like, "Who is this guy? Does he even know what he's doing? Like, he's gonna hurt himself." And like next day, I see him doing like handstands on top of a basketball net, like way up high. He's doing handstands on the roof of these buildings. I'm like, what is this guy's deal? I don't know anything about him. Then people start talking, telling me a bit about him. I'm like, oh, he's that guy. That's sick. And then one more, he's been putting out amazing content online for years, starting his own apparel line, as we can see right there. It's beautiful content, man. Beautiful products as well out there. So thanks so much for what you're doing in the world. And I'm sure everyone here is hyped to have you. We have just over 12 people in the room right now, and more people probably going to show up. So guys, feel free to ask your questions in the side chat and post your questions down below as well. And Tim will get to them after he's done his presentation. So I'm going to give you the floor now, Tim. It's all you for the next hour, man.
Thank you so much, Ted. Thank you guys for joining me. Always flattered. 12 people, 12 special people. Like, even if it's one person, I'd be happy to have you here. There's a bit of clutter in this room right now. This is the office space, and I've been at London Veg Fest this weekend and running ethics and antics there. But at that festival, I gave a talk, and it was my first talk. I get asked to talk all the time on veganism and being an athlete with veganism, and I don't know. I sort of feel like I'm in tune and intuitive with my passions, and I couldn't find like a niche within being a vegan athlete that I wanted to talk about that no one had talked about before, and I still thought there was so many unanswered questions within veganism and how it works and why it works. I certainly felt better, but there was no identification of, oh, it's this plant or these greens or this fruit, and it was up until recently I didn't have a real solid thing in my head that I felt like this is why veganism works, and this came to me 2 or 3 months ago. So I keep looking over here because I've got 2 screens and I've got a PowerPoint. I actually got so motivated by the information that I learned that I created a 201 slide PowerPoint for London Veg Fest, and I presented it there, and it was about 250 people in the room, and I was very flattered with the outcome, and I think this is really the information that I want to give. I'm surprised there's no one else out there giving this information, because when it came to me, it seemed so obvious, and I'm sure there are people out there that know pockets of this information, but I've sort of, one of my abilities that I'm given as a human, in my eyes, is a capacity to collate data and information and put it in a more dense, bite-sized format that people can go, wow, all of that in one go, I get it now. And that's what I feel like I did with sort of the Russell Brand edit, and if you see my Gary Yourofsky compilation, things like that. And this is what I've somewhat began doing with this topic, and the topic is water. The age of Aquarius is upon us, and I wanted to talk about water. And my journey towards that. So it began with getting, I did parkour for many years, became vegan, and then felt better for a little bit, and then lost the passion a bit and got into mountain running. And then I actually got injured mountain running, and some of you might have seen when I was in Ninja Warrior America, I had to pull out because of the injury. And it turned out that specific injury was a chipped bone in my knee, and I think it happened during an obstacle course race. But I didn't know it was a bone at the time. I thought my muscle ligament was spasming out, and it was actually a bone in between. So occasionally this muscle would hurt my quad, and then it was this muscle on the other side. And I didn't realize it was a bone until I had an MRI scan. But during the time when I was down and resting, waiting for the results of the MRI scan, waiting for the doctor to come and let me know what was up, because the doctor I saw before the MRI scan said it was just a tendon damage. So I rested for weeks, or even a month before the MRI came, and was frustrated. I was resting, doing all the right things. I've got pretty good at healing myself from all sorts of injuries throughout my years. I've got go-tos like acupuncture. I once really healed a really bad thumb sprain that was bothering me for years, well, not years, months. And I just went to acupuncture, and within a day it healed my thumb. So that was a go-to. Didn't work for this. I do a lot of yoga and Bikram hot yoga, and that works for a lot of sort of muscle aches, strains, lower back, often some joint aches, that hot flush through the body. It can work, and it didn't work again with this one. I even went and saw the ice guru himself, Wim Hof. If you don't know him, he's got the world record for staying in ice for like an hour and 53 minutes, and not his core body temperature didn't drop a degree because of his mental capacity and his breathing. It's all in the breathing. So and all these things I did. There's many others. I slept on the floor. I got recovery tools, like started reading Kelly Starrett's book Supple Leopard. I was using roll recovery, foam rollers, lacrosse balls, all my go-tos, and none of them worked with this injury. And when I got the results of the MRI, of course, it told me I had a chip bone in my knee, and that is understandable why those didn't work. But beyond that, in my time off, my right knee, which wasn't the one with the chip bone, got worse and worse and worse, and that was feeling actually a lot worse than my left knee, which is the one that needed the operation. But in that downtime, the beauty of it was I let go of being an athlete. I let go of trying to be a respectable athlete, trying to be top at whatever I'm doing. I got into running quickly, and being, you know, top in another sport, it's hard to get into a sport and just not be at the top level. I'm running with my cousin who's a top level runner, and it's frustrating to not be at that level. So I'm trying to run and keep up with him, and it's putting my body through too much pain. So I've sort of adopted a new method of looking at things like karate belts or martial arts belts, and maybe in parkour I'm a black belt, but maybe when I'm in running I'm like a yellow belt, and I'm trying to keep up with black belts, and that's not healthy for my body. And so I'm going to try and apply that in future to other things before I get too much damage. But beyond this, my body was just shutting down anyway. Like I said, my right knee was bad. I had a really bad knot in the middle of my back, so when I go to yoga and I touch my toes and try and push up through my hips, there was just a limited motion in my spine. My shoulders were getting tight from years of handstands, and even my ankles. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom, just toeing on my ironically, but on my heels, because my ankles were just stiffening up, and it was frustrating because I'd stopped running. I was stopped training, stopped running for 3 or 4 months, and I was doing these things that I would believe would work. So even placebo didn't work, and they all somehow failed me. Now, with that time off, as I was saying, the acceptance that I made when the doctor told me you should probably take up swimming and never run again, basically, and not parkour, and maybe do some rock climbing. And I that day, after the day he told me that, I drove to the local reservoir, stripped off my clothes, dived in the reservoir, and went, I better start learning to swim. I had a little cry, but I better start learning to swim then. And then the very next day, it only took me 24 hours to get over this. I was like, okay, I'm not an athlete anymore. And I'd accepted it. And the beauty with the acceptance is the universe, once you accept something, it plays with you. It gives you the thing. It sort of gives you the thing back that you'd accepted you would never get again. You know, they say if you love something, let it go, and if it comes back, it was meant to be. And that's really how I see the universe working. And so with the acceptance of moving on, it freed me from the desire of all these races I had planned in my head. I'll be happy when I'm on that mountain. I'll be happy when I'm doing that race, when I'm at 5Ks in 17 minutes. I'll be happy when I'm here. And it freed me from all those desires. Those were future projections, and I wasn't stopping me living in the moment. So every day I was sat at home eating my dinner, thinking, oh, I can't wait to be recovered so I can run again. I can't wait to do this. And once I'd accepted that, I'd moved on. And what it did was my brain switched back on. I'd let go of trying to be this physical, strong guy, athlete, you know. And I wasn't like too egoically attached to that, I don't think anyway. But it made my brain switch on, and all these other desires, these things, you know, my passions, philosophy, religion, mathematics, science. I love all these different studies, and I enjoy them to some degree in school. Of course, that in school they're trying to program stuff into you that you're not that passionate about. So whether it's the information or the way they teach it, there was only certain things I really enjoyed in school. But beyond that, if I wasn't at school and I was just researching things I enjoyed, I would certainly, you know, be researching into philosophy like Alan Watts and Egyptian and Greek cultures and the Quran and Buddhism and all these different things that I enjoyed. And when I did that, well, to get really topical, Vegan Gains made a video about me. And if I was running and healthy, I would have, metaphorically speaking, ran away and would have just left. I've been like, oh, you know, he's just a hater, whatever, you know. And I get on with my life, continue my training and running and let it go. But because of the injury, I sat down with my friend Jamie, and we started to film a video together in response, like just a one-take video, sort of explaining my angle, just to get it done and say something. And he actually said to him, you know what you should do is you should do a response video the way you did the Ido Portal one. He really liked the Ido Portal response and said, do a response like that and address it properly. And that's the best way to do it. And I thought, you know what, you're right. I'm injured. Just a couple of days ago, the doctor told me I shouldn't run again and all this stuff. And I thought, why not? Why not? You know, it's the start and that's all you need. So I sat down and started it. It took me 4 days to put together that response video because it felt like it was important for me to do, regardless of what you believe. I like to defend people's opinions and their right to believe them. So there are people out there, like I said, that believe the earth is flat, and when you look into it, you can understand, okay, I can see where they're coming from, and you can see why both sides are coming from, but I don't like anyone that's a bully about it. And I think a lot of the vegan community now, not to lash out, but there's a lot of classless veganism going on. And I think we've got to be gracious vegans, and that is not gracious veganism. It's not to throw judgmental things about things people don't understand. So I wanted to defend that. And in defending that, regardless of the way anyone sees it, then the very next day after I did that response video, which I felt was important for me, for other people it's just nothing, it's just I watched a minute and gone, but for me I felt it was important to do that. I did it, I addressed it. The very next day I was on someone's Facebook and I saw a link to a video and I watched it, and it was talking about water, and that's the topic of today, and it was explaining that distilled water, and to my knowledge up until that point, distilled water, I always heard you should remineralize, and I've even said this in several videos. Oh, if you have distilled water, you should remineralize it. I remember these moments saying it in the video. I don't actually know that. I'm just repeating what someone, and I try not to be that guy that just repeats something someone else says because I've heard it. I try to really understand something before I speak on it. And I thought it was harmless. You know, you put in pink Himalayan salt. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, and occasionally I'd put it in, and sometimes I wouldn't. But this video said if you drink 4.5 liters a day of distilled water, don't remineralize it, and that the theory and the myth going around is that if you drink distilled water, it leaches minerals from the body. And when you look into this, and if you search distilled water, the very first topic that comes up, or the very first post that comes up, is on Mercola.com, who is a very good doctor on many subjects like fluoride and other things. But this one topic on distilled water, he actually says early deaths come from distilled water. That's the title of the thing. When you search in Google distilled water, the first thing that comes up is early deaths come from distilled water. That's a terrifying title. And when you look at the article, it goes on to compare. It says Coca-Cola is made out of distilled water. That's not the reason Coca-Cola is bad, right? It says distilled water is great for removing toxins from the body. It's great for removing poisons, but just don't fast on it, and don't drink loads of it, and don't fast on it because it's slightly acidic, right? And people that get minerals from water can be healthier. You read the article yourself, you'll see it's sort of fearful net rhetoric, but actually when you break it down and look at the pros and cons of distilled water, the pros are pretty awesome because it removes toxins from the body. It's a great detox. It removes poison. So basically, if your health depends on it, drink distilled water. That's what it says when you break it down. And the cons are it's slightly acidic, and it can remove minerals. Now, the truth is, it does remove minerals. It removes every mineral that shouldn't be there. It removes inorganic minerals. It leaves the minerals, everything, the minerals in your body that should be there carry a positive charge, a negative charge. The minerals in your body that shouldn't be there carry a positive charge. Now, when you drink distilled water, which is distilled, it's not still, it carries a negative charge. It runs around your body looking for things that shouldn't be there positively charged, magnetically reacts to it, absorbs, dissolves it, because water has the beautiful trait of being able to dissolve things. It dissolves the mineral, takes it to your liver, and you excrete out that thing when you drink enough water. Now, when I was running in the mountains and training all that time, I was drinking if I drink 2 liters a day, I'd be content that I've done my duty to my body. 2 liters a day. And it would be bottled water, which already has trace minerals in it. Now, when you have bottled water or tap water, and I've got a little device here, it's not this one, but it looks like this one, a TDS meter, it shows you the total dissolved solids in parts per million in the water. So for every million parts, that's H2O. How many parts per million is some other substance? So when I measure tap water, it comes out about 304 in London tap water. Of 304 parts per million is not H2O. 304 parts per million. It doesn't tell me what those parts are, but it's something else. Now, when I check some bottled water like Nestle and Volvic and Evian and Smart Water, Volvic came out one of the highest, lowest, which was the best, below 100. Distilled water comes out actually 4 when I do use tap water. If I ran it twice, it would come out at 0. But essentially, when there's dissolved solids already in the water, that water then loses its capacity to dissolve new solids. So when you're drinking water which already has minerals in it, then it can run around your body and it's not got as much capacity. It's not distilled. It's not still. It's still water. So it's not able to dissolve other solids that are in your body. When I was running around the mountains, all the lactic acid was building up in my knees. I was drinking the water and it was doing what it could. It already has some minerals dissolved, so it wasn't at the highest capacity, but it was doing what it could. It prioritizes the lactic acid. So it drops the minerals in the water in my joints because it's like, well, this can live it. The joints can fail. But if we get poisoned from the lactic acid, we're done for. So it drops the minerals in my joints, takes the lactic acid, gets it out of the body. And therefore, I'm not poisoned by the lactic acid, but I'm slowly getting a buildup of minerals in my joints. Now, for me, the experience of this changed my life because within days, my spine eased up. I got there's 2 types of cracks you find in your body. There's the crack you do like every day. There's like, okay, there's that crack again. Yeah, and then there's new crack when you do a lot of yoga, or you might notice it if you get onto the distilled water and drink 4.5 liters or a gallon a day. There's a new crack that comes with your body when it's finding a new depth that it's not felt in a long time. It's finding that posture that it used to have when you're younger, and it's been sunken into it. It's tightened up, and these knots have appeared. I felt these new cracks in my back, in my spine, in my shoulders, in my hips, in my knees. All this started to ease up, and I knew pretty quickly that this was the key ingredient. And from that, I've learned, in my opinion, this is the reason veganism works and the reason veganism fails. Why there are so many obese, not so many, but you still, and maybe not so much where you are, where I am. I go to these vegan festivals around England, and there's some obese vegans with acne. I'm absolutely not hating. I love these people to death. That if you are vegan, that is awesome, and that is the fundamental. Veganism is for the animals, for the planet, and mostly for your health, but not necessarily. It's giving love to others first. Water is for your health. It's for you. When you get this right, this can solve everything. This is the reason Ted Carr is so good on a fruitarian diet. He gets so much water. There's 4 types of distilled water, essentially. You've got a distiller out of a man-made machine, which I've got a countertop machine, and I fill this up 4 liters in 4 hours. Costs £100, about $200. Then there's nature-made. You've got clouds that rain. You've got dew, mist, fog. This all comes under sort of the nature cycles. But of course, clouds, you can't drink rainwater anymore in most places because of chemtrails and pollution from the cars. As soon as the water drops, it'll get attracted to some invisible chemical and become toxic. But for me, this is why I believe we have an innate desire, and we love the look of clouds. The clouds look beautiful to us. It's a beautiful lake in the sky that's giving water. It's going to give us water and distilled water and pure water that is the buildup of the body. Let me break it down and go back a second. I had a test done in the ASICS laboratory, and it showed me that I'm 63% water. Now, we're all told this figure, like 70% water as humans, but we don't really know. I am 63.55% water of my body makeup. Now, when I break that down from 73 kilo human, I'm 47 kilograms of, and I don't know how to translate that to other people, but basically I'm 63% of a 165 pound guy, I think. So that's like 120 pounds, 110 pounds of my body mate is made up of water. Now I'm trying to get I don't try to, but people try to get protein, you try and get your different elements, your B12, your iron, all these things. I thought, are all these things the reason my diet's failing me? I'm not getting enough iron. Iron, the building blocks of good needs. I'm not getting my B12. We start to blame things. Is it diet? Maybe I do need some meat. It was hydration all along. I'm 63% water. That's 47 liters of my body, just over 10 gallons of my body is made up of water. That's your fuel. That's my life force. That shouldn't be overlooked. That shouldn't be, I'm just going to drink some bottled water today from whatever company. I'm not even looked into what's in. I don't know what the dissolved solids in it. I don't know what the pH of this water is. I'll just drink tap water today. Okay. As long as I get my food and I'll have a bottle of water with it and I'll sip it along with it. Water is the first thing we should be getting in the morning, in the evening, in the day, and before your food, after your food, when you're training, before you're training, during your training, after training. Getting the water in is the first thing. If you are, like me, 47 liters of water in my body, drinking a gallon a day, That's 10%. That's 10%. We spend hours charging our phones, filling our cars with petrol, looking after the house, hoovering, ironing, tidying, cleaning things. Your body just wants 10% of an exchange, of a flush, of a recycle a day of water. Give it 10% of pure water. I mean, if you can't get pure water, distill water, get water in fundamentally. But this seemed to be, for me, to be the absolute. Sorry, I'm going on here. I just want to check that this is actually working because I've been rattling on here. Yeah, 20 minutes on it. Should be all good. Someone give me a comment so you can see this. Yeah, this is all good. Yeah, cool. 4 types of distiller. Cool. 1, 2. Right, all right. Big up. Number 3. We got, so that's what I was saying. We love clouds, right? They look beautiful to us, and they used to give us life. They used to give us the pure water. 3rd type is fruit and vegetables. That's why, and if you know Annette Larkin, the 71-year-old, maybe she's 73 now, black lady with no wrinkles at all, beautiful looking woman. She drinks nothing but fruit juice, and this is from her garden. The 3 factors that make up good water for me, you've got the pH, the alkalinity, acidity, which is the least important of the factors. You've got the TDS, total dissolved solids, which is probably, I think, the most important. Get it pure. Get your minerals from your food. Get your alkalinity from your food. When you get water, get pure water. The 3rd factor being the AWP, how antioxidizing it is. And this is an AWP reader right here. And if I measure tap water, it comes out as positive. Again, the negative is what's good. That's what you want. If something is positive in AWP means oxidization reduction potential. So it's reduction potential. If you bite into an apple and it goes brown, that's oxidizing. If you have some steel and it starts to rust, that's oxidizing. We want antioxidants because it stops the aging, it stops the decaying. Now, fresh juice and negatively ionized water is antioxidizing. It slows down aging or stops aging. We'll find out if we die or not when we die, how much it slows it down by. But something like Coca-Cola is really positive, like a 700 plus on an AWP when you put this in Coca-Cola. Now, there's capsules you can get that one called Mega Hydrate. I'm not advertising. I'm just saying you put this in water. You put water, distilled water, and then put Mega Hydrate in, and it goes super negative, like negative 350, 250, something like that. You get fresh fruit juice, like Annette Larkin, from grown in your garden. Put this in, you'll see it's like a negative 200, something like that. If you buy fruit juice from the supermarket that's been packaged, concentrated, it will start to be a positive. It's the fresh stuff it's got living life force in it. Then the 4th type of distiller is, I call it God-made, man-made. It's essentially the best distiller, one of the best distillations on the planet, and that's your liver. Your liver filters everything good from everything that's bad, right? Everything that's bad, the minerals, deposits, it should be there. The rocks, the salts, not the salts. The salts can be used. They make it through the liver. The liver's, everything that's bad, you excrete out. Everything that's good makes it to your kidneys. Your kidneys is everything that makes your kidneys has come from the bloodstream and is usable by the body. Everything that you wee out is usable by the body. There's no toxins in urine. It's just over-nutrients. I'm trying to find the word for it. Nutricized. If you had too much nutrients, you eat. That's why urine is salty for most people, because they eat too much salt. But salt can be used by the body, so it makes it past that little filter check. Shall I shit this out, or can I absorb it? Oh, it's salt. So get to the kidney. We might need salt. Oh, the kidney says, oh, we don't need salt. We've got so much salt already. And you pee it out. And this is why most people's pee smells so badly, is because they got too much nutrients in their body. They eat too much good stuff and bad stuff, mostly bad stuff, but there's still a lot of salt and stuff in there. So they pee it out. Everything in your urine can be used, and you can look into urine therapy, and it's massive healing benefits from it. But essentially, it's the most efficient source of human nutrition you could get on the planet, because it's already been filtered by the liver once. So that's essentially the 4th type of distiller, because it has got stuff in it, but everything that's in it carries a negative charge because it's all organic minerals. So it's still technically distilled, and that's the 4th type. Yes, aka piss down there. Thank you, Ted. Urine therapy. Give that a look into if you're ready. And I'm sure Ted, someone like you, is ready for it. You must look at your piss and be like, it's clean every day, man. Give it a little try. Give it some research. So, from my experience, and I'm just going to read this from the bullet points of what the benefits I went, and I listed a few. My hair got thicker, healthier, skin clearer, my eyes got bluer. So I remember seeing in a video, it's freaky now, isn't it? Fully raw Christina saying her eye color changed when she went raw vegan or raw, yeah. And that is essentially because over time, slowly we get mineral deposits, especially if you're in a hot country or bright country. Your eyes are working a lot. So if you're drinking or eating impure things, or there's metals and rocks in what you're eating and drinking, they're going where so the eyes are working, the muscles working, and there's lactic acid. It's going there and it's depositing. This is why cataracts happen on a lot of people in bright countries. Now, when you get the distilled water in, it starts to dissolve that. So when Fully Raw Christina went fully raw, she was getting the distilled water from the fruit juice, and it was clear. It cleared her eyes out. So my eyes got bluer, more energy, more drive. I said in this, I've never given a talk before, and then this gave me the drive to go. This is the knowledge that needs to be shared. Better recovery. I've noticed a direct correlation. I've never noticed a direct correlation between protein after a workout and recovery. I've never gone, oh, I had that protein shake and I feel great now. Like, never have I felt it. Maybe it's worked. I'm not saying it's not worked, but I've never felt that. I've felt a direct correlation with DOMS, delayed onset of muscle soreness. So the next day or the next day after training, when I've gone, oh, my muscles are a bit achy now, and I've gone, cool, bang a litre of water, and without even realising, 50 minutes, like, oh, my muscles don't ache anymore. It's the fuel that flushes out the lactic acid, that dissolves the lactic acid, that dilutes the lactic acid and then gets rid of it. It's so much percentage of your body, and it's overlooked. I got a fungal infection on my toenails that started to heal up. That's a long process, but I've never noticed anything. I've tried all the treatments to heal it up, and nothing has worked like this. And I always said, when I've healed my toenails, I've solved the human body, and I'm pretty sure I'm on my way to that. Give me a few more months. Teeth got whiter. It's a solvent. It just strips everything that shouldn't be there. Weight, lost 7 kilos, lost a stone. That's like 12 pounds. Because one of the theories with holding weight and holding on to mass and size is that your body's dehydrating. It's scared that it's not going to get any more water. So when it's dehydrated, it goes, I better hold on to this water because I don't know when I'm going to get any more water. When you give it enough water, you give it the confidence to let go of that water weight and flush out the toxins that it's stored in the body. And the main bullet point was my joint aches went away, my knees, my ankles, my spines, my shoulders. Now, that's just a sentence to people, but to me, that's my life. When my knee aches went away, and from just a simple thing as getting my water right, it seems so simple, but then so obvious and right at the same time. When you're going to break it down the way I've broke it down here. So essentially, the big thing is we are all just dehydrated. Not all of us, because some of us, I think, like Ted, and not, but I know others, but dehydrated. And a lot of athletes, I think, are well hydrated, and they're flushing, and they even sweat. Like, sweat is distilled water. That's why after you sweat, you work out in a hot country or Bikram, you feel born again because you've had this flush of distilled water. And I've started to not shower right after I've sweated loads. I don't like to wash it off. I like to let that sink into the skin, and you actually feel a lot better for it. And again, if you get into urine therapy or something, you reap what you sow. You start to realize what's in your body, and when you start to notice, be in tune, and you're giving a little reality check to yourself, or MOT, a mouth of truth, as I like to call it. You stop eating certain foods, and then you become less toxic, and your sweat doesn't smell anymore, and you become a lot cleaner. Yeah, what to expect. So if you do this, and you might get detox symptoms. Some people completely fine. The urine's more intense than just the water. So if you're doing that and it's intense, switch to the water. If you're doing the water, take your time with it, or you can just go 6 liters a day. It's all good. Decalcify your pineal or some shit, man. But you get detox symptoms, and it depends how much toxins are stored in your body, where your body stores it, and how it decides to eject it. And we all know what this could be, diarrhea, skin pores, things like that. But it's just part of the process, and it's all part of healing. Some of us might have gone through it when we became vegan. And you'll start peeing a lot. You will start peeing a lot, but you'll start to enjoy it, and you start to look at it differently. And you start to go, oh, it's just ran around your body. It's just come from the blood. It's like we'll drink water out of the tap or out of plastic bottles that have been sat wherever, but you won't drink something that's come out of your own very machine and organism. It really is a step up. So just to give a quote from other doctors, not McCullough, but some actual ones that give a fuck. There's no absolute medical proof that drinking distilled water will cure arthritis, heart disease, high blood pressure, hardening of the arteries, or any other dozens of infirmities that humans suffer. There's no absolute proof that drinking distilled water will remove kidneys and gallstones, reduce cataracts, or cure emphysema. But there are hundreds of case studies of people who have enjoyed success in alleviating or overcoming these health problems when they began drinking distilled water exclusively. That's from Dr. Clifford. What's his name? Dr. Clifford C. Dennison. Dr. Alexander Bell, I think he invented the phone, or he robbed the invention of the phone, but either way, he was a smart Scottish guy, and he cured his sciatic nerves. It was his idea. Nikola Tesla said only a lunatic will drink unsterilized water. Like, these people were onto it. We're worried about kids in Africa not getting clean water, and it's actually us that needs to worry about not getting. I mean, of course, we worry for them as well. That's great, but let's make us get clean water. Get your minerals from your food. Get your alkalinity from your food. Get your water from your water. It's for us. Veganism for the planet, for the animals. Water is for us. It's our fuel. It's our life force. And so, in summation of that, although it doesn't work now because I didn't lead in the right way, but as an athlete, it's all sunshine. You get injuries, clouds start to come, starts to gloom over. Then I discovered the rain. I got the rain. I've been drinking my water, been drinking my pure water, proper rain, how rain was supposed to be. I got my sunshine back. And what do you get when you have rain and you have sunshine? You get rainbows. And now I'm playing in the rainbows, and I can't wait for next year to come back. Whatever I want to do, I'm going to be about representing vegans, representing for the water, for the real water, the proper water, the hidden knowledge that's been suppressed. This is no joke. When you search distilled water, the top article that comes up is early deaths come from distilled water. And when you click it, not a single case of an early death, that's fear-mongering, that's paid for. We know there's industries out there that don't want us to have certain knowledge, and we see it within veganism from meat industries trying to clash. What was that video, top 10 facts about veganism, or top 5 facts about veganism, and not one of them was actually like a positive thing. It was all like, companies are out there trying to stop this knowledge. It's no joke. Health is a business. Ill health is a big business. Disease is a big business. We know we can pay for top Google hits. I don't know who pays the most, but someone's putting some dough to make the top hit be a title that's a complete lie. This is my experience. I have to drop a disclaimer. This is my experience. I want you to do your own research, have your own experience. I just want you to think for yourself, and when you see these articles, really look into them, because there's a lot of fear-mongering. There's a lot of scare going down. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. That was my presentation on water. Now we can get to some questions. People seem to thank you, Marissa. You like that. Yes, Dr. Emoto did with the water crystals. Fascinating. I do like that stuff, and I want to look into that stuff more. It's not something I can prove myself, and I'm not going to go around going, look at this. He put love into the water and it came this crystal. Now, I believe it, but it's not self-evident, you know. Like, I can't go, put love into your water and drink and you feel good. I'm sure it might be, but we've got to get people, for people to even think that way, we've got to get them, we've got to heal them, right? And we've got to, this is what I was talking about, gracious veganism, is we can't impact people. You got to be like water, right? It can flow or it can crash. We've got to flow with people, find out them, how they work and flow, guide them around. People have big egos, these big ships that you have to steer. It's a giant ego, and you've got to go, you can't just go, no, you're wrong. You're going to snap the rudder and they're never going to listen to you again, and they're wayward, they're gone. You have to go, okay, how can we work with this person? You got to absorb people, use inception, make them think it's their idea, you know, help them heal themselves, because at the end of the day, it's their body that's healing themselves. You just have to guide them to the right choices to help them body heal themselves. Tell them, don't go vegan. Keep doing what you're doing. Drink distilled water, and then once they can heal themselves, because you can do that in a bad diet, and it really does, it will cancel it out, and then eventually they will start to make smart choices, because people are blocked, and telling them not to eat the one thing that they go to for comfort is you're just an enemy to them. And if we can help them heal themselves, then they will make smart choices from those positions. All right, I'm going to try and get to some of these questions from the right. Did you read Lauren Lockman's on ionization versus David Klein having a debate over distilled versus spring? The body doesn't do a thing, it's chemical composition, the way the body responds, binding stuff. Yeah, get hydration from fruit. Yeah, that's be interesting. I should look into that. That's thanks for that topic, ionization versus David Klein. I don't think distilled water, some people will speak out against, say you should drink distilled and not spring. In my research, it seems like anything that's 50 parts per million to 100 isn't too bad. Like, obviously, of course, it fundamentally depends what those 50 parts are, because it could be some poison or something. But if it's from a spring, it's fairly natural, and I think the body can deal with it. And if you drink enough of it, you're only going to flush out what you're putting in. And you can always switch to the urine if you're worried. You know, you drink the water, you know everything that's coming out there is going to be not harmful to the body. So one evidence for that is the fact that if you kept drinking urine over and over, it gets clearer and clearer, which is a sign that it's using more and more of the nutrients each time. If it was toxins, it would get darker and darker. So I'll look into that. But yeah, spring water, I think spring water is great. Like, don't fret over that. What machine do you recommend to have distilled? I bought one years ago called Mega Home, and it still works today. It takes about 6 hours for 4 liters. My flatmates have one from Pure Water, and that takes about 4 hours for 4 liters. But I don't think it's quite as good. It comes up 7 parts per million, and mine comes up 4 parts per million. Although that's not really the difference. But I mean, it's a difference, but it's nothing really. There's one on Amazon right now that's £56, and someone said they bought it after seeing me talk, and it works great. So I might buy like 4 of them to give to a couple of close people. I bought one for my friend Pure Water, and he uses that a lot, and his mum. I wanted to buy it for my parents, and they're not ready yet. I can't, try with veganism didn't work, so I'm just going to buy my time again. So I bought it for my friend's mum, who had arthritis in her knees, and she just started walking their other son to school, and she used to drive him to school every day. And she got on the water, and she started driving further and further, like parking the car and walking to school, and got further and further until she can walk from home now and walk their other son to school every day. And that's just from 2 weeks on the water. Like, it's quick to work. So recommend you can try that machine that's £56 out. I can't promise you it's going to work, but I got one friend that got it, and he says he loves it and it works a lot. So I'm going to buy 4 of them and give them to a couple of friends and relatives for Christmas, I think, for those that are ready. Do you think we could live all longer than 100 plus years? I really believe that. I really believe that. You know, the average age isn't actually going up. Like, the average old age isn't going up. The average life expectancy is going up because less young people are dying, so it makes the average life expectancy. But the average, like, we're not living any longer than we used to. That's sort of what's hinted at, but we're not living any longer than we used to. But I really believe that we can live way past 100. I think we eat far too much, and I'm the culprit of that. And that's the beauty of that, is it's led me to this topic. If I wasn't that passionate, so it's a strength and a weakness. But I really believe we live past 100 if you get your water right. I think honestly, I think the urine is a real hidden gem. This is chakra activation fluid. It's just ran down through your body, through each chakra, and pops out. Your penis gives out life, or a woman's vagina gives life, and it doesn't just then. Also, it gives toxins and life. No, it gives life and life, like in many ways. What number should your water be at, and what is the tool that you had before that measures your water? If you're talking about TDS, the TDS it costs £20, $40 on Amazon for a TDS. You can go around restaurants and check their water out and try different bottles of water. Called a TDS meter, and it measures parts per million. I mean, I think your number should be at 0. If you're getting spring water, then 50 to 100 is all right. If you're getting tap water, then it depends where you are, what that 50 to 100 is, or mine's 300. I did it, and when I did the talk, I walked on my hands. I had a bucket of like a bowl of distilled water and a bowl of tap water, and the tap water was like 300 ppm. The distilled water was 4. I walked on my hands down the aisle on the floor, which everyone had walked on already, washed it in the distilled water, measured it, and it came out at 27. I just walked on my hands up and down a mud, like not muddy, but a carpet of a floor, which people have been walking around a vegan festival all day, and then washed it in the water, and it's 10 times less parts per million than the tap water. So that tells me a lot about the tap water, and that we're scared of the wrong things here. We're scared of getting the bacteria from the wrong places, and it's right under our noses. Okay, here we go. Do you practice a sitting meditation? If so, what does that practice look like for you? I don't practice a sitting meditation that often. The next topic for me to talk about is the elements, and how they affect us, and how we can be better in our physicals when we utilize the elements. And so you've got earth, water, air, fire, and then ether above that. I'm just playing in these for now. And so earth is like veganism. You can respect and you can disrespect each element, right? And veganism for me is sort of a respect, and it's alchemy with the plants, and the truth about the earth and the shape of it is part of that, and you can be lied to, and that's a disrespect. And you can eat animals, and that's a disrespect. And a lot of people are trapped at the earth because they're stuck in the physical, and they're heavy and they're dense, and they've got blockages. Now, athletes, the next step is water. And if you get your water right, you can cleanse your body in the earth. And athletes sweat a lot, and they're liquid, and they flow, and they do sports, and they're, I've healed injuries from training through them, thinking I've got a bad muscle, and yet I'm training gently and it's healed. It's because I'm sweating and keeping blood flow and being gentle. And so athletes I see as like at a liquid level, and then air is the next level, and that's utilizing the breath with the other stuff. So that is like top athletes and endurance athletes have got the hydration, they've got the earth, they eat right, they've got the water right, and they're utilizing the breath. And for me, that's the next chapter. Now I've started to get my liquid right. I was seeing Wim Hof and doing breathing exercises, and I had like a tightness still in my ribs, and that's been freed up now. I can open my lungs wide and get my ribs. I feel like I can get a deeper breath now. So I'm going to get into the meditation more now that I've got the water, and that was the next step. And that's what Wim Hof's about, and a lot of, like I say, top athletes, top runners. And then the fourth step of that is utilizing the sun, and that's when you can get into sun gazing. Now, as I say, you can disrespect each level. So a disrespect of water might be drinking alcohol, and not to say that, because you can drink alcohol and it's not bad. It's how you can abuse the element, let's say. So you can abuse that, and that's water. That's drinking tap water. That's they trying to control us with each element, right? And then you've got air, and that's pollution from the sky. You can breathe in toxic air. You can be in a stale environment. I've started to sleep with my window open now, and I've noticed a massive difference in my sleep just from the amount of stale air that must be if there's no flow in the room. And so, again, like I said, the abuse of that is pollution in the air. And then you've got the sun. And if you have the other elements, that will help you sun gazing. Now, if you are eating meat and you can't breathe properly and you're not drinking the right water, of course you can't look at the sun. It will feel uncomfortable. You're not ready for that kind of light, that kind of truth. But if you respect the others, then you can start to get into the sun gazing, and you start to utilize the sun's energy, and you won't get skin burn. An abuse of this, of course, is sun cream, is sunglasses. Now, I'm not saying completely use them sparingly. I'd rather someone wear sunglasses for fashion than wear them because they think they're doing the body a service, unless they're still trapped in earth or whatever, because they need that for protection. But any healthy human should be able to take the sun's light wherever they are, unless of course you go an extreme to like up a mountain in Nepal, in the Himalayas, and the sun's bright reflects on the snow, and then play it by ear. But at that top level, as I say, a top athlete or a person, functioning human that has utilized them, who is one of the best athletes on the planet, the fastest man on the planet, Usain Bolt. No coincidence with that name. Most explosive, trains in the sun, darker skin, melanin can utilize that sun's energy even better than a white person's skin, and has the most peak. Human body is built to run, and he can run faster than anyone over a short distance. So this is what my next chapter is to talk about, is going through this. So to answer your question in a very long-winded way, but I thought it could be a good topic for this chat, is I don't sitting meditate that often yet, but as I've got my water now, I'm happy and ready to move on to air and meditation and breathing and that stage. And actually my pineal, and when I close my eyes and I used to feel a really ache when I was trying to activate, and it may sound weird to some people, but I could feel an ache, and it's started to clear now. And I'm starting to experiment with other alchemies that will help with that. And so the meditation's coming, and that I've doing my lucid dreaming's got a lot better since I've been doing the water. So I'm looking forward to some astral projection and all that stuff in the future. Yeah. Any more questions? Cellular theory versus germ theory. I'm not sure what you mean there. I have to say, you have so much interesting knowledge. Do you do more live Q&As? I don't at the moment. This is, like I say, this is when my athlete switched off and I'm waiting on the surgery to remove the chip bone. My brain switched back on, and I've been investigating a lot of things. What's something cool you got from the Wim Hof experience? Just to see how free he is. he's really free. And when I've seen older videos of him, you can see he's on a similar path to vegans, but more lonely, because he's like, you can heal anything with your breath. You can heal anything with the right breathing. And people just weren't as willing to listen to it. Now he's got respect that he deserves. He can see he's free, or maybe because he feels more free, he's got the respect he deserves. You know, that as within, so without, all his self, he's maybe calmed and accepted that maybe not everyone's going to get his message, and therefore more people have now got his message. And it's his capacity to just get in an ice bath and be there for 20 minutes and then drop into the ice for a minute, holding his breath while his dog's barking because she's looking out for him, and he's truly a good human. And one thing I liked was he wouldn't eat till 6 o'clock, and he'd eat one meal, and he's vegetarian. But sometimes he'd have a snack at like 2, and I'd be there, and he'd be like, "Hey, no dogma, man, no dogma." I mean, of course, like someone else might be like, "Oh, well, he says he doesn't eat till 6, and he's eating at 2," and start spreading rumors. But he's like, "No dogma." I'm like, that's exactly how it is. Like, we're all on our own journeys. Let's not judge. I think he essentially means by that, don't judge me. Like, I'm, you know, and I wouldn't. It's like, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, his dog was awesome. Whenever we or even any of us swam lengths under his pool, the dog would just run and just be level with the person swimming the whole time. It was just a dog looking out. What does the age of Aquarius mean to you? Do you think we will see vegan world in our time? That's cool. Eat a 6-foot slack is about. Yeah, exactly. It's chill with it. Age of Aquarius. So I mean, that's a Yuga, right? That's the next Yuga. That's the next of the zodiac. We were in the age of Pisces for 2,000 years from when Jesus came in, and the age of Aquarius is coming in. But it's not like a one moment. 2012, 21st December 2012. It's not like 2160 or whenever they also. It's a complete fade. It's seasonal. It doesn't just go from autumn to winter overnight. You know, it's seasonal. So we're shifting into age of Aquarius slowly. So we had the hippie age in the 60s, and that was sort of that was like it's snowing in December, and then then we went back, and we've gone to this banker internet world age, and it's sort of got a little warm. I don't know. Seasons are beautiful. It doesn't matter which season. Comparing winter and snow to the good thing. So you can take that how you want, but it's all good. So now we're shifting. We're going back. I think we're getting an awakening, and veganism is part of the revolution, and it's just fundamental. It's really basic, but it's not the revolution itself. I got not caught up, but veganism is part of it, and I got into veganism for spirituality. I got into it for spirituality, and that's really the journey, is the spiritual journey. So it's a part of the spiritual journey, and I think we all got into veganism for spirituality. Whether it's for self-love, whether it's for love of others, whether it's seeing that other things don't, that's a spiritual choice. And we got caught up, and the community's got a little more got into egos and positions and statuses and gossip. And it's fun, but it's classless. It's not gracious. And we need to bring back that gracious veganism. We need to bring back, what I loved about veganism when I got into it 4 years, I'm not been in it that long, but 4 years ago, is the fucking outspoken, brave, wayward. Look at people like David Wolf. Now, I know there's a lot of things people might disagree with him on and all these, some things on his site and that, but his opinions are out there. And Robert Cassar and Douglas Graham, like we're divided. We divide ourselves because we judge these guys because of one or two mistakes because they're human. But really, they're on our team. They've got a good message. They've helped our gurus. We're inspired. Like my guru was inspired by Dr. David Avocado Wolf's book on the raw food. That was his Bible to him, and he's taught me. So that was Sebcam, and he's taught me so much. And we disrespect these guys because we've just come in on a new age and read one or two things about them, and we go, "Oh yeah, they're doing it for money." Yeah, okay, they're human. Forget. Take what's good from them. Let's not hate and focus on the bad. It divides us because really they are in a mode of good. Like they're trying to do good. You don't have to agree with everything they say, but they're on our side, people. It's not them we got to worry about. It's It's the meat industry. It's the water. It all gets simpler as you get more deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. Solutions, because you transmute it all. You can laugh at it all. In one of your videos, you said you had a coconut someone sent you, yeah, and you used it. Can you explain the coconut? You've thought about it so much. I don't know who sent it me. Some kid from Cornwall sent me a coconut that they'd shaved, and it's really smooth, and it leaks coconut oil. And I don't know if all coconuts do this, or this was just a lucky coconut. And it's still in my shower now, and it still leaks coconut oil. And so I can just rub that on my body. David Wolf is a hardcore anti-vegan. He's inspired people. Like, yeah, I like Essene Gospel of Peace. Rereading that now, it's fascinating to me. How do you deal with negative troll comments and criticize you on YouTube videos? It used to upset me. Once you come out as a flat earther, it's really rewarding, because truth protects itself, and you realize knowledge protects itself. Some people can't handle the truth, so knowledge protects itself from them, and so it's such a divide, and I can understand why people think it's so crazy, because I once thought the same, that it frees you from all the hate and that, because you go, well, they're just not ready for it yet, they just don't see it yet, like they're still in this. There's 180 degrees of knowledge of programming that were taught in school. When you look at the news, and all the news and all the media is all a stage, it's all a performance, it's all a show, and all the programming in school, the things were taught from history. The winners write the history books, so they're all mostly lies. It's his story. That's 180 degrees of knowledge, and once you see the truth, and essentially you can look at the moon landing, and any truth, see it, like, if you don't just shun it away and go, okay, let me actually look at this. Let me look at the moon landing, and it's laughable. Like, and 9/11, it is all like, if you give it time and don't just go conspiracy and label a thing as a conspiracy, and that's the ultimate programming, is that if you mention the word conspiracy, or you mention something that's deemed a conspiracy, it's labeled as wacko. But once you get over that and you remove that word, you go, let's look at this thing here, because we know the health service is completely wrong, and this water will teach you that because you go, well, the answer is fucking easy, but we're still stuck trying to fight cancer and cancer charities, which are doing absolutely nothing, because the cancer research, not cancer solution charities. But you're still in this 180 degrees of knowledge and looking at the news and hoping that one of the presidents, will be the right one, and they're not there. There's no, as Prince said, I got no dog in that race. They're not there for us. That's all a stage. It's all a performance, right? Once you let go of that, and flat Earth, I don't know, because that is the trigger, right? When you say vegan, some people get triggered by the word vegan. Remember that, and let go of that trigger when you hear the word flat Earth, because you've got to look at this knowledge. Once that opens up how limitless the human actually is, because you realize we're lied to, and you turn around and you're suddenly in this other 180 degrees of knowledge, and you're like, whoa, we are limitless, we are immortal, we are sentient beings, we are supreme beings, we've got so much going for us that we've not even begun with this technology. Phones and computers is basic, mediocre, not even mediocre compared to what the human body is capable of, the potential that we have, the capacity, the abilities that we have, that we're going to find out in our generation. It's exciting times. It's exciting times. But you have to, but the hate, you have to do something that snaps you caring about the hate in your head. So, and for me, that was talking about flat Earth, because it divided people so much. And now it's like, cool, I'm ready. Like now I'm just like, bring it. Like, it fires me to give more. I'm going to give more and more and more. Because the people that come up to me and go, thank you for talking about that. Thank you so much. I use that as fuel, but it's just a reminder to myself. It's just a reminder to myself, because I love it when I see someone, like, I always think of the example, James Aspey, when he did 365 days of not talking. And then when he first spoke on that TV show, that was one of the most inspiring vegan moments of veganism for me. And I see another young individual like that speaking and doing something pure like that. And I go, yeah, we need to be like the person that you're inspired by. And the people that speak out, like I say, regardless of whether it's true, the universe loves courage. Take a chance on something. Take a chance. Speak out for defense of someone, of something. Stand for something. Now, try not to judge others. That's my point. Is I'm not trying to judge others, but I'm trying to stand for something. So it's finding that balance, towing that line, because a lot of vegan activism it can be quite judgmental, and it's not by no one's fault, because we're all angry, we're all agitated when we see people kill pigs and then a guy eating bacon and not giving a fuck. That's angry, but we have to not react. We have to respond intelligently and think, wow, poor guy. Like, he must be hurting that he can't see what that is for what it is. How can we heal that? Help them heal themselves, not tell them what to do. That's just impacts and bounces them off. To absorb them with love. Yeah? What's next? James Aspie, I get the chills. Yeah, man. Moral judgment versus value judgment. There we go. Judgment happens if we focus on the need behind it or seeing it moral, right, wrong. Favorite movie of all time? All right, line up. Ooh, V for Vendetta is a good one. Matrix is a good one that you can come back to. The Fountain. I'd say The Fountain if you want a spiritual movie. And I just saw the trailer for that again the other day and saw it in a whole new light after doing urine therapy. The Fountain, yeah. That's a special one. Yeah. You know them three. Favorite, have you seen The Greatest Invention? No, I haven't. I'll check that out. Thank you, Jonas. Books wise, I would say Peaceful Warrior, really powerful. So much knowledge in that book. Really good journey. Celestine Prophecy, I'm excited. I had a Kindle and the screen broke, and I love reading books, but with a Kindle you can just read a book in any position you want to lie in, whereas normally with a book you have to have some sort of elbow support, or you're like hovering or it's opening it. But a Kindle just, so I want to get a new Kindle and get Celestine Prophecy on that. I do like that book. Yeah, Esteem Gospel of Peace is if you're ready for that sort of language, it's one of the most powerful books. It talks about angels in the body and stuff like that, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. The thing is with science, and I'm all for science and understanding things, but it can take out the miracles of life because you explain something with a word, and you go, oh, the organ, the liver, the kidney, and we know that science is unfinished in that, you can't explain everything. They say that the particles in urine, they can only identify 10% of them, and the other 90% they don't know what it is. And there is stem cells in urine. And I was looking at paying £12,000 for some treatment for my knees, stem cell treatment. And since drinking my urine and the stem cells in it, maybe that's what's healed it, Going on tangents here. Essing Gospel of Peace. And the Bible, Jesus was a urine therapist. This is a final note. I've got a few minutes left. He said, drink from thine own cisterns. He turned water into wine. And it wasn't red wine, it was white wine. The blood of Christ, the blood of Christ. The body of Christ, there's a theory going around that the Bible talks a lot about mushrooms. The one theory they're missing is that the blood of Christ is urine. You got the body of Christ, the mushroom, the blood of Christ, the urine. And Jesus disappeared to India for however many years. Right, Ted, what's up? Jesus disappeared to India, came back with Shivambu Shastra, which is what the Indians called urine therapy. It's a sign of cosmic intelligence, self-love. It's the Ouroboros, the self-fulfilling, feeding the worm, the snake that feeds itself. So he came back with that. He said, drink from their own cisterns, turn water to wine, fed the 5,000 with just a few pieces of bread. Now, if people eat bread and then urine out the nutrients that they didn't absorb first time round, you could drink it again, and you could feed a lot of people and a lot less if we were to eat food that way. That's one way you could have fed the 5,000. So that's one theory on that. So, Peaceful Warrior, Celestine Prophecy. Yeah, I'll leave it at those three.
I love it how this is like the first generation where we can just get so niche into so many little things, and there's an audience for it. The internet, there's always an audience. There's a whole community built around veganism, a whole community built around urine therapy, a whole community built around flat earth, a whole community built around meditation. Everything you mentioned, there's a whole niche community. People dedicate their lives to stem cell research, right? So it's like you yourself, Tim, Shieff, you can talk about these things, and there's always going to be an audience for them. You can dive as deep as you want into them. It's beautiful. There's always going to be people fascinated by them. So thanks so much for coming on and sharing these topics that are out there, man. I love the cup, bro. And honestly, I don't drink much water, as you know. I eat a lot of papayas and juicy fruit. But during your talk, I was like, man, I got to go get some water right now. So thanks so much for inspiring me, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Much.
Hey, no worries, man. You're already out there leading the way, man. Just keep doing it. And thank you. There's 198 people in this room. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to the people around you. Here's Spencer, Young, Jonas, Marissa, Louise, all you people that
And then
are
I can't
it.
I can't wait to see where you're at next year, man. Hopefully we can do Speaking Summit again. You'll be here next year, and you'll be at like a whole nother stage in your life.
Yeah, I need to relocate. That's my next step, is to relocate. So I'm not hypocritical, but I'm sat in on the 36th floor apartment right now. I don't know if you can see this in London. There's London out there. I'm 36 floors up, talking about being with earth and nature and fresh air. All I've got right now is my water. Like that's my connection. You know, it's one of the reasons.
Let's hold the vision of the relocation is happening.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm going to relocate, and then next year I can be more prepared. I have other PowerPoints. I'm gonna start. You know, I can go far with this. I'm excited to spread this knowledge and just help some people heal.
Man, thanks so much. And I can totally relate to how when you're doing athletics, you can't access up here as much. It's all in the physical. It's all down here. You're working out. You're resting more. You're up here. You're much more researching, and you're promoting it out with your voice, and it's fantastic. Good.
Silver lining, man. Everything that's meant to be.
Thanks, bro. I'll see you sometime, somewhere, someplace, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
You're done.
Peace out.